Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Bruno Fernandes is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's true leader. Bruno Fernandes scored twice yesterday in our 3-1 win against Everton, and he also provided an assist. Got given man of the match. Bruno Fernandes though was very poor against Istanbul Başakşehir. He lost the possession around 34 times. There's only been a couple of games where Bruno Fernandes has looked off the pace, but in the vast majority of his games at Manchester United, he's been very consistent. Bruno Fernandes has endured around 9 months at the football club. Now, the vast majority of his goals have come from the penalty spot. Bruno Fernandes has won Premier League Player of the Month a couple of times. He also won Matt Busby Player of the Year award. Now, he's definitely the best signing we've made under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and he's one of the best signings we've made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We paid around €55 million for Bruno Fernandes. €55 million equates to around 47 million in pounds sterling. And I think Fernandes signed a 5-year contract with a football club with an option of a further year. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is even delighted with Bruno Fernandes. Reflects on his good performance yesterday, but he said he has been frustrated with his positioning at times. Not so long ago, Bruno Fernandes was talking about Paul Pogba. Obviously, he hasn't been happy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all of that. So there you go. And I've already said that I think we should give Bruno Fernandes the captaincy. Don't forget, we give him the captaincy against PSG. Now, is there hope that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can turn things around at Manchester United? No, had a very good win yesterday against Everton. Edinson Cavani scored as well in the game. That's his first goal for Manchester United and his first goal in English football. I think that was his 5th substitute appearance. I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans now that are saying we need to start Edinson Cavani ahead of Anthony Martial. Obviously, it was Anthony Martial that started yesterday. That was his first start in the Premier League for the month because Martial's just come back from a 3-match suspension because he did get sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. But yeah, like I've said regarding Edinson Cavani, he will be our next Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We got him on a free transfer on deadline day. Edinson Cavani signed a 2-year contract with the football club worth around 220 grand a week. And obviously he's wearing the number 7 at Manchester United. Obviously in the game against Everton, Marcus Rashford got an assist. And Luke Shaw also got an assist. That's his 2nd assist now in a week. Solskjaer has confirmed 3 injury blows. Marcus Rashford, he's got a problem with his shoulder. Ollie's confirmed that. Luke Shaw, he's sustained a hamstring injury. And I also think that Victor Lindelof has got an injury. But Lindelof had a back injury before the game. Ollie also confirmed that David De Gea had a groin problem before the game. But yeah, going into the Everton game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was under serious pressure. I think if we hadn't have beaten Everton, Solskjaer would have been sacked as Manchester United manager. But I think reflecting on the win, some pressure would have eased off him. We're now sitting, 13th in the Premier League, is it? Prior to the Everton game, we'd lost our last 2 games. Obviously, we lost to Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League. That was our first defeat in the group stage. And it was Istanbul Başakşehir's first ever win in the Champions League that was formed in 1990. And obviously, we lost to Arsenal last week by 1-0 at Old Trafford. And that was Arsenal's first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League for around 14 years. But yeah, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solsjaer has beaten Carlo Ancelotti as Manchester United manager. And like I said, Carlo Ancelotti is a very, very good manager. He's won like Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, he's won FA Cups and all of that. He's won around 15 major honours in his managerial career. So that's why he's got a good pedigree behind him. Carlo Ancelotti has been Everton manager now for almost a year. When Everton appointed him in, he signed a 4.5-year deal with them. And like I said, Everton have got, good players in their team. They also made some very, very good signings in the summer transfer window. So I was actually expecting us to lose the game. Everton did have a good start to the season because they won their first 4 games in the Premier League. But obviously now they've lost 3 games in a row. But hopefully this result, Manchester United can build on it. Obviously, we've got West Brom after the international break. Now, that is a game that Manchester United should be winning. It is at Old Trafford, West Brom. If we can beat West Brom, that will be our first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. We have not yet won at Old Trafford this season in the Premier League, and it is our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. Now, the last time we played West Brom, we lost by 1-0. That was at Old Trafford back in 2018. West Brom's current manager is Slaven Bilic. West Brom have obviously got some good players in their team. They've obviously got Charlie Austin. They've got Callum Robinson. They've got Matthias Pereira. They've got Carlon Grant. I think they got him from Huddersfield on a 6-year deal. They've also got Grady Diagana. West Brom have had few injuries. They've obviously had Dara O'Shea out. They've had Sam Field out. And they've had Kanu out as well. So there you go. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about Pochettino replacing Ole Gunnar Solsjaer at Manchester United. Now, my element of concern about Mauricio Pochettino is that he's not won anything in terms of silverware. But Mauricio Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League. And he's also dealt with top players, and his philosophy's quite good. He has been managerless now for like a year. Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham, and analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. But last year, he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. He guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals, and he guided them to the League Cup final. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He enjoyed a short tenure with Southampton, but he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So far, he's managed 3 clubs in his managerial career. But the Manchester Evening News did recently say that Man United have approached Mauricio Pochettino over becoming the club's new manager, so there must be some trustworthy in it. because obviously it is stemming from Samuel Lockhurst, who's obviously very, very close to Manchester United. Pochettino was linked with the managerial role at Man United after Jose Mourinho had got sacked. Now, it says that he's considering taking the PSG job if PSG sacked Thomas Tuchel. Real Madrid have been in for him. Manchester City have been in for him a few times. Barcelona have been in for him. The other week, it said that Zenit St. Petersburg were in talks to get him. At one point, Newcastle were interested in him. Mauricio Pochettino was talking on Monday Night Football, don't forget. And he said he's missing football and he's ready for a return to management. But if we was to appoint Pochettino in as our new manager, who would he bring into the football club? What players would he get rid of? More than likely demand a director of footballing so he gets more backing. Would our current board back him? That is the question. We've also been looking at Julian Nagelsmann from RB Leipzig. We've seen him as an alternative to Pochettino, aren't we? Julian Nagelsmann is regarded as one of the best young coaches in the world. It also mentions that we've been looking at Massimiliano Allegri. He's another alternative. But, like I said, we'll stick with Solsjaer for now and see what obviously happens after the international break. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager now for almost 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 and he's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. He has got a contract with the football club until 2022. Ole has managed 102 games for Man United in all competitions since he got appointed in. And I think he's won around 57. Now, you've got to say that the club made a mistake by giving Solskjaer the job permanently. The main explanation we're giving the job permanently was reflect on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But I said he's in a position he shouldn't be in. I think the club have made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so, and that's why we've been inconsistent. Ole is into his second full season as Manchester United manager, isn't he? And I said he's got to exceed his expectations this season if he is to remain Man United manager. I said he's obviously got to get us to a top 4 finish, and I think he's also got to win a trophy. I want Man United to win a trophy because we've not yet won all under Ole, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. We are, though, into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, so do you think there's a chance that we could win that? Do you think there's a chance we could maybe even win the FA Cup? We certainly won't win the Premier League. Like I said, I think we're at least a few years off from winning the Premier League. I was hoping this season that Manchester United could have mounted a title challenge up. Still a long way to go yet, though, in the season. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for over 7 years. In a lot of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's games at Manchester United, his team selections have been wrong, haven't they? Like yesterday in the 3-1 win against Everton, Ole didn't start Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek played no part in the game whatsoever. We paid, £40 million for Donny van de Beek from Ajax. Donny van de Beek signed a 5-year contract, was it, at the club with an option of a further year, and he currently wears that number 34 shirt. Donny van de Beek has started our last 2 games in the Champions League, but he needs to start in the Premier League, doesn't he? Ole was talking about Donny van de Beek prior to the RB Leipzig game, saying that he will be an important player and he will play a big part this year. And Ole did explain why he hasn't been playing him much, but when he's played, he has made an impact, to be fair. Obviously, he started Juan Mata yesterday. That was a surprise because I wasn't expecting Juan Mata to start. Obviously, Mason Greenwood wasn't available because Solsjaer's confirmed he was out with illness. Mason Greenwood should be available for the West Brom game. There was no Tellez yesterday either, because there was reports coming out prior to the game saying that Tellez could have made his Premier League debut because he has been recently in training. Tellez obviously did make his debut for the football club against PSG, didn't he? He made the right decision by starting Fred yesterday because Fred had a very, very good game. Like I said, he dictated the play well. He passed the ball well. He runs on and off the ball. So good there was. You know, Fred didn't play any part, did he, against Besiktas? But he was poor against Arsenal. Fred and McTominay have been playing a lot together recently. Ollie did make the right decision by not starting Pogba. You know, Pogba didn't start, but he did come on in the game yesterday and that. So there you go. But there's definitely positives to take from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure. Like I've said, our record against the top 6 sides has been pretty impressive since he got recommended in, especially last season. You know, obviously Ole has beaten Julian Nagelsmann, he's beaten Thomas Tuchel, you know, he's beaten PSG twice since he came as Man United manager. Last season, beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times, also beat Frank Lampard 3 times, and he also has beaten Jose Mourinho once as Manchester United manager. So he showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. You know, I also like the way that Ole has promoted the youth. He has made some good signings since he got appointed in as Manchester United manager. He spent over £200 million at the club and he's endured around 4 transfer windows. We've seen a lot of players leave the football club since he got recommended in as well. I credit him for what he did last season because last season Ole guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us a 3rd place finish, 2nd highest we've finished into Ferguson era, and also got us qualification for the Champions League. Don't forget the first part of last season, we endured our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Ole was close to getting sacked by the football club. We've had some good periods under him though. You know, went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. Went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. We was on an unbeaten run away from home as well until Istanbul Besiktas beaten us. I'm very, very convinced that Manchester United will get into knockout stages of the Champions League despite us recently losing to Besiktas. But we've obviously beaten PSG so far in the group, and obviously, you know, we're beating RB Leipzig by 5-0. We've had some big wins under Ole, haven't we? You know, 5-0 against RB Leipzig. 4-0 against Chelsea on the opening day of last season. 5-0 against Bruges last season. 5-0 against Lask. 6-0 against Tranmere. That was in the Cup. 4-1 against Newcastle. We had the 5-2 against Bournemouth. 5-1 against Cardiff. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge as Manchester United manager. Yeah, so we've had some big wins. We've obviously had some heavy defeats under Ole. You know, we had the 6-1 hammering against Tottenham. That was this season. We had the 4-0 loss against Everton back in April 2019. So, yeah, there's been a few big losses. I don't think there's been a lot of big losses under Ole. There might be a few others that I haven't mentioned to you. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs more backing at Manchester United because he hasn't been backed enough, obvious, isn't it? During the summer transfer window, we missed out on all of his priority targets and we missed out on a lot of targets in general. I don't think any of our managers have been backed enough since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And Ollie revealed quite a few times during the summer transfer window that he was very, very frustrated with the board. Our recruitment policy's been poor in that for several years, and we've overpaid for players. And these are a few of the reasons why we're demanding the board out. Woodward's been at the club since 2012. The Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. The Glazers have taken quite a bit of money out of the football club. And Patrice Everett even recently said that the board must go before Ollie. Now, obviously, we're making plans for next year because next year we are looking to make more signings. Because I still believe, from my own perception, that Man United need a centre half. We need also a right winger. I think next year we might go back in for Sancho. Obviously, after the RB Leipzig game, there was rumours saying that we're going to go in for Dayot Upamecano next summer. He's available for around £38 million next year because that's when his release clause does become active. I certainly would take him at Man United. We could go in for Adama Traore in January as well. Erling Haaland could also go in for him next year. I said it was a shame we missed out on Erling Haaland because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solsjaer type signing. We'll look to offload more players next year because there is still deadwood in the squad. I think next year we'll be looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, Sergio Romero. Sergio Romero said already that he wants his contract terminated at Manchester United. I think we'll get rid of Daniel James. I think we'll loan him out. Daniel James isn't that good now and he doesn't get in the team a lot now anyway. Didn't play any part yesterday. Brandon Williams could also be loaned out because he's obviously now our third choice left back and he's going to find game time hard. I heard that Southampton inquired about getting him at one point. Last season, though, Brandon Williams played a lot of games for us, but that's because obviously Luke Shaw had a couple of injuries. Because Luke Shaw was injured at the first part of last season, and he had an ankle injury towards the end of last season, didn't he? Matic, now he's obviously lost his place in the team. Didn't play any part yesterday against Everton. Do you think we'll sell him next year, Nemanja Matic? Do you think Juan Mata, do you think he could be sold next year? We will have to see. I think a lot of Man United fans are expecting Paul Pogba to leave the football club next year. But yeah, Ollie is our fourth permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was obviously David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, and Jose Mourinho. So like I've said to you before, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on players in the last 7 years or so. And we've recruited over 30 odd players in. And we've only won, 4 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal, and we won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under Jose Mourinho. That came in Jose Mourinho's first season at Manchester United. But I don't think anyone's going to replicate Ferguson's legacy, and no one's going to last as long as Ferguson did. Ferguson won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles, and he enjoyed around 27 years at Man United. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. Like with Jurgen Klopp, he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. So you can take that into account and say that maybe Ollie deserves more time. I think he's had enough time at Man United. I still don't think he's the right manager for Man United, despite that 3-1 win against Everton, because we're winning games, we're losing games, we're drawing, we're losing, we're losing, winning, etc., etc. It's an ongoing cycle, isn't it? We've got to keep winning games. That's the difference. We have got to keep winning games, and we seem to win games when Solsjaer's on thin ice. And when the pressure eases off him, we seem to either lose or draw. But Solskjaer hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, has he? Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Obviously, before he was with us, he was at Mould. He'd won a few Norwegian titles at Mould, but Mould had a big club. And before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was poor. He got sacked in Cardiff because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, didn't he? But Solskjaer, he's inheriting a squad that is worth £700 million. That's obviously disregarding who he's brought into the club. The vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, isn't it? But I think we've got some good players in our team, like I've already said. I think Marcus Rashford's very, very good. He was good yesterday, like I said, got an assist, had some good chances. In the last couple of games prior to the Everton one, no, he wasn't that good. Rashford did score a hat-trick against RB Leipzig. He became the second Man United player as a substitute to score a hat-trick. He also scored a late winner in Paris, second time he'd done that. Rashford recently turned 23 years of age, and Rashford has been part of the club for several years, hasn't he? He's been at the club now over 15 years because he has been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Martial, he's a good player, but he hasn't enjoyed the best of starts to this season. Do Man United need to start dropping him, like I mentioned earlier on? He was good last season under Ollie. He was also good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial's enjoyed over 5 years or so now at the football club. I like Mason Greenwood a lot. I think, he's very, very good. We had a few issues with him, though, at the start of the season because he was getting withdrawn from the England squad a few times. Ollie's obviously defended Mason Greenwood in recent weeks. He's currently our number 11. He's the fourth Man United player to wear the number 11 shirt. I think Bruno Fernandes is good. I think Donny van der Beek's good as well. But like I've said, he needs more chances. I'm hoping Van der Beek can make his first start against West Brom after the international break. I think Freddie's good. He's not world class, but he's had good games at Manchester United, and he's definitely improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. McTominay can be good when he wants to be. I don't think he's as good as Fred, though, McTominay. Tomway has been part of the club for several years. Juan Mata, he's very, very good. He's been given quite a few chances this season, surprisingly. Juan Mata has obviously lost that yard of pace because he's now in his 30s. Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at the football club. We paid just over £37 million from Chelsea back in 2014. But Juan Mata wasn't that good yesterday, I don't think, against Everton. But he was good in both our Carabao Cup games against Brighton and Luton. He also did well in the Newcastle game. Quite a few weeks ago now it was, Juan Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia, didn't he? I think Luke Shaw's good, when he wants to be. He's definitely, done very, very well this week. Got 2 assists, and I think his crossing has really, really improved. Harry Maguire, got to give him a lot of credit as well. I think he's been good recently. He's bounced back from his early season troubles because he did have early season troubles, Harry Maguire, didn't he? I like the way he performed yesterday. Threaded some good long balls through. Very effective in the air. That is good to see, and made some vital interceptions. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he's good, but I'm having element of concerns about him recently because he has been a bit off the pace, hasn't he? And Wan-Bissaka in the last couple of games. Like I said to you before, we need to see more attacking intent from him. And in some games this season, we have seen that attacking intent from him. Don't forget he scored his first goal for Manchester United against Newcastle. De Gea, I've got to give him a lot of credit because he's recently rejuvenated himself. He's made good saves and that. He didn't have much to do yesterday in the Everton game apart from take the ball out of his net. David De Gea. I said he'll remain our number one for this season. You know what I mean? But yeah, these good players in the team, isn't there? There's obviously players at the club who I don't think are good enough. Like I said, probably Matic isn't that good enough now to be at the club. He can be good at times, like I've said to you though. I've given him credit when he deserves to be credited. Some people think McTominay isn't good enough. I don't think Lindelof's good enough. Lindelof's done well recently, but he's nowhere near on Harry Maguire's level. We may not sell Lindelof next year, actually. Bay's too injury prone, but it's good. He's good when he plays, but that's very, very minimal. You know, Lingard, obviously not good, but he doesn't get in the team now. Rojo, he's never really established himself as a first team regular. Jones, he's been inconsistent. He's injured, Jones, and he's recently had an operation. James, I don't think he's that good now, like I've already mentioned. Odi Nagalo doesn't even get in the team now, does he? I think he'll leave when his loan expires in January. Axel Tuanzebe, can't give you much of a perception on him at the moment because he hasn't, played enough. Came on yesterday as a sub. He's come on as a sub a few times recently. He started against Besiktas, didn't he? He was very, very poor. I thought he was good though in the game against PSG. That was his first start for Man United in 10 months. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.